So it gives you a little bit of versatility as far as hardware options go for your networking.
Well, that's neat. So it just kind of has a GUI of a server rack, and you just kind of just
Yep.
add things you want to, huh? That's yeah, that
Yep.
sounds really. I'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
And then I believe you can actually access it from other workstations through the web, and you log into the console. But you definitely it's basically a web interface when you're on the workstation itself, and it's pretty neat actually. But they have LDAP integration that you can get for it, and you can use it as a Radius server. You can um, you can actually require users to log into uh, the Untangle box before they can access the internet. So
Oh,
if you're,
yeah, that's
let's
good.
say you're on a college campus or something, they tend to use those type of services a lot, which will actually require you to authenticate with your Active Directory account to access the web. So even if you don't have an Active Directory, let's say they're using, well, some colleges use Novell eDirectory, and it's it's just a different kind of directory service, but they might put your account in there, and since your computer is not technically on the network, you can use your account to authenticate your computer with their web filter, and then it allows you on the net.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of got lost on that part there. What's LDAP? What is that?
It's
For someone like me who doesn't know.
it's the lightweight directory. I can't, you know what, I mean, I don't want to screw this up. It's lightweight
And then
LDAP.
you had mentioned something right after that too. I didn't get
It's
to.
the lightweight directory access protocol. So it's basically it kind of helps you integrate with Active Directory.
Okay.
Radius is I haven't really done much with Radius, but the Radius servers. Um, Let me see if I can find a link for you.
Yeah, this is a lot of good information you've given me. This is a lot of stuff that I don't hear every day. You know, fixing computers and laptop screens and things like that. I don't have a lot of
Well,
calls for this kind of stuff, and it's really nice to to broaden people like me. Broaden our horizons a little bit.
a lot of this stuff you probably won't see unless you have to deal with an enterprise network. Even some of the larger clients that we have don't really utilize a lot of this stuff. Actually, the largest client that we have has a Microsoft ISA server, and they're using that as a proxy for their entire network. And they can actually restrict web access using that. I'm not really familiar with the ISA server myself, but I've had to deal with it once or twice in the past, actually, when we were trying to give them more bandwidth through a different connection. they're uh, they're pretty heavy user as far as bandwidth goes, and they have a T1. Actually, I think they have a bonded T1, and they just didn't have enough bandwidth, and the internet connection was incredibly slow because of it. So we had to get them a business class cable connection as well. So that was a little bit of a headache.
Do you guys use much Microsoft products then, or not? Not very much.
We're well, actually, we use pretty much all Microsoft products.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot of instances we use Linux. Um, I wish there was more. It's just, we don't have a lot of people that are incredibly familiar with Linux. Um, but Windows the Windows 7 the Windows Server tools that they have now they're just getting better and better, and they make it really easy to manage networks with group policy and whatnot.
Hmm.
Are you familiar with group policy at all?
Not much.
Well, you can
Oh,
use
that
it
was
to, well, in the past, a lot of people would use logon scripts, and it's not as much of a necessity anymore because group policy will allow you to roll out printers or shared drives to specific users or specific groups. Um, it's a little more fine tuned than logon scripts are.
So yeah, and you can go in there and kind of drill down and be more specific for each user then too that way with those.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can actually restrict different things on the computer itself. So you can restrict any kind of additional drive letters from being assigned. So they even if they plug in a flash drive, it just does nothing.
Nice.
Uh, you can lock down Internet Explorer. You can. There's a lot of crazy stuff you can do in group policy. If you have time to check anything out, uh, the information is all on Microsoft's website. They have a great wealth of information in the TechNet um, articles that they have.
So do you have any businesses that use like Office 365 for any of this too, or?
Actually, we had one of our clients that had the Microsoft Online. They were using the SharePoint and Exchange, but they were having problems with it. And I guess Microsoft is a little hands off when it comes to that service, whereas they don't actually give you any support. And they pretty much say, here's your account. See ya. uh, so we
That's been
ended up
kind of my experience with it myself, honestly. I
yeah.
tried and I got kind of stuck, and then I was kind of, well, we'll try again later or something, you know.
Well, I mean, if you're familiar enough with the service yourself and you can set it up and maintain it and support it yourself, then it could make you some money and that you could get businesses set up with the service and you provide the support to them, and then you don't have to own the servers or any of the hardware that you'd have to run the services on for them yourself. We actually migrated one of our clients though from the Microsoft Online to hosted Exchange and SharePoint on one of our servers at our database or at our data center. I'm sorry. And
Was How did that go? Was it fairly, easy for you guys to do that, to migrate from there?
it was a project.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
project, but I mean, we have them using the latest Microsoft software, so they're happy about that. They can access it online anywhere. They have email to their phones. We have actually some clients that have older servers. They're running Server 2003, and they have Exchange Server 2003. They've had a lot of problems recently with trying to run Android phones and iPhones with their Exchange, and where it just doesn't work. And we found that most of those problems are resolved using the latest, either 2007 or 2010 Exchange servers. Uh,
Well, yeah, if you want to go into email, is there some things anything you want to share on how you set up email and Exchange servers? Um,
um, well,
Tips
I,
and
I
tricks like that?
I don't typically handle the Exchange server setups. I more deal with the support of the end users on Outlook at that point. But mainly we have one of the guys that works for us. He's the email and the Exchange guru, and he pretty much handles all that stuff.
Yeah. So basically using the newer stuff helps a lot if you kind of keep everybody up to date. It's gonna end up making it easier for you, and they're gonna have a more pleasant experience, themselves
Absolutely,
too. And
absolutely,
everybody likes to use the new stuff anyway, no matter what it is. If it's the new version of an antivirus program, everybody likes to use the new stuff. As long as
right.
you get the money for it, though, that's the thing with Microsoft products, huh?
Well,
Sometimes.
that does. I mean, it does play into a lot of things, but with nonprofits, there's a website called TechSoup.org, I believe, and they have all kinds of deals from Microsoft where nonprofits can get software from Microsoft
Hmm.
extremely cheap. And it does actually help because usually nonprofits don't have an insanely huge budget, but they don't necessarily have the budget that maybe a medical client might have, and it does help. They can get hardware on there as well, but as far as the software goes, it's big savings for them, and they're always happy about that. But I had the opportunity recently to install, migrate from a server. It's an SBS 2003. It's a small business server 2003 to a small business server 2011. And they're one of our first clients to actually be using the SBS 2011. And they had previously had a lot of issues with iPhones where, they have maybe a handful or a couple handfuls of users that have iPhones, and they weren't able to get an email on their phones because of incompatibilities with the 2003 Exchange server. And what we found from Apple is a very hands-off approach, much like the Microsoft Online, where they kind of don't give any support to that old software, and they pretty much just say, "Hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, sorry." But but we've had a lot of clients that have kind of had issues with that as well. But the SBS 2011 it worked beautifully with the iPhones, and everybody's getting email now just fine. But the migration was a little bit of a project.
And that you said that's your first one, or haven't done too many of those migrations from Exchange 2003 or from Server 2003 to 2011 yet?
That was actually the first to 2011. We've had the
2007.
Was it 2007 or 2008 that they had the SBS? I believe it was 2008.
Oh, okay.
And we've done a ton of those, and that's one of our more common, where our clients will have the small business server 2008, and it's great software. I mean, for a smaller business that obviously you have to have under 75 users, but for a smaller business that wants more functionality out of their server, it really does a lot. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to play around with small business server at all.
I've tried a couple times. What kind of things can a business expect out of it? What if you were going to pitch it to a business and say they've got an 2003 or older, or a Linux server just sitting up in a closet, they haven't changed anything, and say maybe they're still running like an old proprietary program in DOS, and what kind of things would you say would help? What would be the sell to them? Why would they want to do something like that?
Well, first would be the compatibility with the newer smartphones as far as the email connectivity. Um, it's prepackaged with a lot of software. You have your Exchange server, you have SharePoint, you have remote web workplace is a big one.
What do you use that for? The remote web?
The remote web workplace allows you to keep a workstation on, or even just log into the server, but you can keep your workstation on at work, and you connect from home. So the remote web workplace has its own IIS page, and you can open it up to the internet, where they just go to their website, and it's usually https:// their domain.com/remote, and that opens up their remote web workplace page. They log in like normal as they would on the network, and it gives them a couple different options. They can go to their company's web page. They can open your Outlook web access, or you can actually just log into a page that allows you to select your workstation from a list of workstations on the network, and allows you to RDP directly to that workstation and use it just like you were in the office.
Well, that is a little more, yeah, more of a. I keep thinking of one of my clients, and he's just he's got like the old one in the closet, is sitting there. But he uses log me in to do exactly what you said, but
Okay.
he doesn't use log me in, but for all of his, his workstations, he can't log into anyone he wants. He can log into his though from home, and he kind of uses
Right.
this for that. And I did get his Androids working. I'm not sure exactly. I wrote it down, and I did save it somewhere in case it ever happens again. But it was a chore, man, to get everything going. Um, and an iPhone also too. Just of course,
Yeah.
just one iPhone and two Androids. So a lot of time
Yeah.
for very small amount there. I'm sorry if I interrupted